Whether it's a savage touchdown celebration, fighting with your own teammates, or harsh trash talk, some NFL players like to play the game without class in their vocabulary. These are some of the most disrespectful NFL players of all time. Tom Brady, the longtime face of the NFL, has won more than anybody else, and all that success has seemingly made Brady feel as though he's more entitled than everybody else. Brady obviously doesn't care about the image of being a poor sport. After the New England Patriots lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52, Brady headed right to the locker room, breaking tradition of shaking hands with the opposing quarterback. In this case, it was Nick Foles.
I don't shake hands.
Brady's handshaking snub habits continued during the 2020 season as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After a Week 5 loss to Foles' Chicago Bears, Brady was nowhere to be seen at midfield. 6 weeks later, Los Angeles Rams quarterback Jared Goff looked for Brady at midfield following a big road win, but TB12 was nowhere to be seen. Folks were quick to point out that Goff happily met with Brady at midfield after the Pats beat his Rams in Super Bowl 53 though, and it's not just Goff either. The quarterbacks whom Brady defeated in other Super Bowls were always kind enough to congratulate him at midfield. So for Brady, handshakes are only mandatory if he's the winning quarterback. And of course, Brady isn't afraid to really let loose when his fiery and competitive nature takes over. He got into it with Kansas City Chiefs All-Pro defensive back Tyrann Mathieu in Super Bowl 55, as the two exchanged heated words, with Mathieu claiming that Brady crossed the line with his remarks after the game. Controversially, only Mathieu was given an unsportsmanlike penalty. Shannon Sharpe. It's not hard to understand why the Pro Football Hall of Famer enjoyed displaying the whole disrespectful thing. It's because Sharpe had elite top-notch trash-talking skills that went unmatched.
Boy, a little 95, a little short, ugly mug. You the weak link on the linebacker. We gonna take advantage of you.
Ray Buchanan learned this ahead of the Super Bowl 33 showdown between his Atlanta Falcons and Sharpe's Denver Broncos. While speaking with the media, Buchanan said, quote, "Shannon can always win because he can talk. But Shannon looks like a horse, I'll tell you. That's an ugly dude. You can't tell me he doesn't look like Mr. Ed." No way Sharpe was gonna let that go. Instead, he took it to a whole new level. Sharpe delivered a timeless pre-Super Bowl presser for the ages.
You said some bad things about me? What do you say?
Said you look like a horse.
Oh, now I know he ain't talking with them big teeth in his mouth. I've never called anybody ugly. Do I think people are ugly? Yeah, I think he's ugly, but I never said that. You just did. He started it. Is he my friend? No. Did I ever view him as a friend? No. Did I ever view him as an acquaintance? No. Do I like him? No. If I see him in a snowstorm, his truck is broke down, mine is going perfectly. Would I pick him up? No.
Other than that,
I could care less about Ray Buchanan.
Sharpe got the last laugh as his Broncos defeated the Falcons 34-19. And of course, nobody can forget the time where Sharpe trolled the New England Patriots during a 1996 game in Foxborough. With the Broncos blowing the home team out, Sharpe grabbed the sideline phone and pretended to make an emergency phone call to the President of the United States.
I'm calling the President. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
Jalen Ramsey. To say that trash talk is in the DNA of the All-Pro cornerback would be a massive understatement.
You ain't getting out there. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. You can't with me, Gronk. Hey, Gronk.
Ramsey has been all about throwing disrespect towards his opponents ever since he entered the NFL in 2016.
That double move was not it, A-Rod. They tried you on a double move, huh? Oh, it was so weak, though.
This was especially on display when Ramsey's Jacksonville Jaguars hosted the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 9 of the 2017 season. Ramsey got into it with Bengals wideout A.J. Green, which led to a fight between the two stars. Ramsey later called Green weak and soft, which led to the latter snapping. Although both players were ejected from the game, they avoided suspensions.
I suppose boys will be boys. Case dismissed.
And who can forget the 2018 interview with GQ when Ramsey offered critical analysis of several NFL quarterbacks. He called Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills trash. Ramsey also said Baltimore Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco sucks. He said Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers is decent at best. He called Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan overrated. Oh, and to top it all off, Ramsey also implied that Eli Manning and Dak Prescott relied more so on their supporting cast. Then, frustrated with the Jaguars front office and his his contract situation, Ramsey managed to orchestrate a trade in the 2019 season. Things really hit a breaking point when he was seen clashing with head coach Doug Marrone during a Week 2 game. He was eventually traded to the Rams in a blockbuster deal, and Ramsey later ripped the franchise for showing disrespect. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Terrell Owens. T.O. did it all. Disrespectful trash talk, creative touchdown celebrations that wouldn't fly in today's NFL, and oh yeah, openly ripping his teammates in front of the media. T.O. embraced the whole disrespect thing. Owens' first true disrespectful NFL moment came during a Week 4 2000 game at Texas Stadium when the San Francisco 49ers visited the Dallas Cowboys. After scoring a touchdown, Owens ran to the middle of the field and celebrated on the Dallas Star. Later, Cowboys running back Emmitt Smith ran to midfield and reclaimed the Star following a rushing touchdown. But when Owens scored a garbage time TD to pad the 49ers' lead, he repaid the favor to Smith by once again celebrating on the Dallas Star. Only this time, T.O. was met with an unpleasant surprise. That was just one of the many great outings between Owens and quarterback Jeff Garcia. But the duo split when Garcia was released by the 49ers in 2004, and Owens was traded to the Eagles that same year. Owens didn't mince words when talking about his former quarterback. Owens claimed that his numbers in San Fran would have been better if he had a better quarterback. He was quoted as saying, "Garcia threw the ball behind me, out of bounds. I left a lot of touchdowns." Well, Owens would get a better quarterback in Donovan McNabb following his trade to Philly. That relationship lasted 2 years before Owens orchestrated his own exit from the franchise. Owens was frustrated about the Eagles' refusal to give him a new contract before the 2005 season. He clashed with team personnel and openly ripped McNabb during an interview with ESPN, which forced the team to suspend him and thus cut his 2005 campaign short. In that interview, Owens said the Eagles would be in a better situation if they had Brett Favre as their quarterback, which McNabb admitted was a slap in the face. The Eagles released Owens in the 2006 offseason, and he later signed with the NFC East rival Dallas Cowboys, 6 years after he mocked them by celebrating on their star. Phillip Rivers, the former Chargers and Colts quarterback, was the ultimate good guy off the field. But if you played against Rivers on the field, you definitely got to see number 17's disrespectful side. After Rivers signed with the Colts in 2020 free agency, Tyrann Mathieu admitted that he would miss playing against him. Mathieu even recounted a time where Rivers asked him if he would ever make a play after the Chiefs paid him so much money.
You know, Rivers, he's like in the huddle. He's looking at me and he's like, "Hey, 32, they gave y'all all that money. When you guys gonna make a play?"
Mathieu proceeded to intercept him just a few plays later. One of Rivers' other great trash-talking moments took place when the Chargers visited the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2019. Yannick Ngakoue wasn't so happy about Rivers screaming in his ear to celebrate a big touchdown.
He's going for 90-yard touchdown! 90-yard touchdown!
Hey, 17, you see I ain't talking, right? Stay humble, bro.
But you know he's right.
Stay humble, cuz.
I can say 90 yards. I can be excited.
Yeah, but don't do that by my ear. Don't do it by my ear now.
I will do it by my ear. I will do it by my ear. No.
Hey,
That's what I do.
1-7.
That's what I do.
I heard at you after the game. 17, just keep talking.
We can't say Rivers ever exactly crossed the line to the point where things escalated badly.
You weren't even close to making that play. You got his hand on it. You weren't even close.
But he was never afraid to offer a harsh assessment to his opponents. Antonio Brown. Brown quickly went from being one of the NFL's most beloved and admired players to, well, one of the most mercurial. The whole ordeal started with a drama-filled exit from the Pittsburgh Steelers late in the 2018 season, and it continued with a short and not at all sweet tenure with the Oakland Raiders. Brown was in the midst of another Pro Bowl season with the Steelers in 2018, but his frustration with Ben Roethlisberger and the franchise quickly reached a breaking point. AB reportedly stormed out of a practice following a disagreement with Roethlisberger, and he didn't suit up for their final game of the season. Brown eventually requested a trade following rumors that he wanted out of Pittsburgh. He received his wish and was dealt to the Raiders, but he wouldn't be there for long. It wasn't just the Steelers that made Brown disgruntled. His behavior and disrespectful habits reached another level with the Raiders. It got so bad that he actually threatened to retire after the league banned the style of helmet that he previously wore. He also skipped team practices, which led to the Raiders fining him. This prompted Brown to angrily confront GM Mike Mayock, and several teammates reportedly had to hold Brown back before the altercation got physical. Brown also reportedly booted a football and told Mayock to fine him for it. John Gruden pleaded for Brown to quit the antics and focus on football, but Brown just took that private phone conversation and made a hype video out of it, which he then posted to social media. The team finally gave up and released him before the start of the season, and so the Raiders gave up 3rd and 5th round picks to the Steelers for absolutely nothing but unneeded drama and disrespect.
Vontaze Burfict. The veteran NFL linebacker has a sad long list of suspensions and fines, mostly stemming from cheap shot hits. Burfict cost the Bengals a 2015 wildcard playoff win over the Steelers following a vicious hit to the head on Antonio Brown in the waning seconds, allowing Pittsburgh to advance the ball for a game-winning field goal. Somehow, Burfict wouldn't learn from his mistakes. He was handed a 3-game suspension ahead of the 2016 season because of multiple violations. A year later, the NFL handed Burfict a 3-game suspension, reduced from 5 games after a dirty blindside hit on Anthony Sherman in a preseason game 2. As Burfict continued to rack up the fines and suspensions, the league finally decided to drop the hammer. In Week 4 of the 2019 season, Burfict was ejected for a hit to the head on Jack Doyle, and he was suspended for the remainder of the year. Burfict had 13 total fines and suspensions with the Bengals before he received that 12-game suspension in 2019. He had missed out on over $4 million in pay from those suspensions. That's what happens when you're as disrespectful as the former Bengals linebacker. Bill Romanowski. Being a 4-time Super Bowl champion and a 2-time Pro Bowler is not the legacy of former linebacker Bill Romanowski. Being one of the game's all-time cheap shot artists and disrespectful players is. In a 1997 preseason game, Romanowski delivered an ugly hit on Carolina Panthers quarterback Kerry Collins. The latter suffered a broken jaw, and Romanowski was handed a hefty $20,000 fine. That wasn't even Romanowski's most infamous incident of the season. Romanowski spat in the face of San Francisco 49ers wide receiver J.J. Stokes, which led to a fine of $7,500. Romanowski tried justifying his aggressive and disrespectful style of play. He was once quoted as saying, "It's just about trying to make big hits, like when you hit someone so hard he doesn't get up. Those are the kind of hits you'll like." In 2003 training camp, Romanowski, then with the Raiders, got into an altercation with teammate Marcus Williams. Romanowski took off Williams' helmet and punched him in the face, leading to several serious injuries and wounds. The Raiders fined him $60,000 for the incident. Williams suffered a broken orbital bone, a chipped tooth, and a broken left eye socket. The severity of the injuries forced Williams to retire. He proceeded to sue Romanowski in court, looking for a reported $3.8 million. Williams' team accused Romanowski of roid rage. Romanowski was apologetic and expressed regret over his mistake. Nonetheless, a jury ordered Romanowski to pay Williams $340,000. Williams' attorney expressed satisfaction with the decision. From breaking someone's jaw to spitting on someone to ending a teammate's career, it's safe to say that the disrespectful side of Romanowski overshadows all the accolades of the 4-time Super Bowl champion. But hey, who do you think is the most disrespectful NFL player of all time? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.